Hey guys, I'm Kyle Milan. I'm here for the second day of IMTS Live Bits and Chips edition at Dormer Pramet booth. And today we have a special guest for those of you that have been living under the rock for the last decade and don't know who Nicole is. This is Nicole Wolter of HM Manufacturing. Some would say that you're the queen of IMTS because you're everywhere.
I heard that.
It. So for those of you that don't know you, if you could explain to the audience your background, who you are, what you do.
Yeah. Nicole Wolter, I am president and CEO of HM Manufacturing. We are located in Wakanda, Illinois. Second generation. My father started the business in 1979, but we're known for our gears, our timing belt pulleys, our splines, our shafts, everything power transmission related we do. We do anything from milling, turning, broaching, hobbing, shaping, ODID grinding, you name it, we do it. So it's pretty cool what we have going on.
Yeah, so you guys are in a niche, so it's not just general machining. You guys are in the niche of gear and power transmission components. Was that always the original decision that your dad went with when he started the company?
No. So because he used to race F1, that was his main driver. So he used to play around and tinker with the gear ratios and the gearboxes and decided there was a niche for it. And so he wanted to really just be in automotive and do that for the racing side of things. Right. And then it kind of just morphed into everything else that you see today. So for us, we're really involved with food processing, beverage, packaging, aerospace, defense. And I would say only 2% of our business now is automotive.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite a transition.
Super, yeah.
And so when did you first get started in the business?
So it was by happenstance because it was like the worst time to actually find a job. I was coming out in 2009.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So my dad said that he needed some help with the business to do some sales, and I was actually only supposed to be involved for like 6 months. It was supposed to be like a really quick stint, and I stayed. So I've been there, I would say officially since 2010. So wow. I'm aging myself now.
No, totally not. That's like right when you graduated from high school, right?
Thank you,
yeah.
yes.
So over the last, let's call it 14 years, what type of changes have you guys seen in your business at HM?
I mean, I would say a lot, right? Besides the personnel, we have a lot of new technology that we've implemented. Our systems were super archaic. We have an ERP system. We have a new website. We're huge with social media. On the tech side of things, our main goal is every 2 years. This is why we love IMTS and maybe why I'm the queen of IMTS. Is every 2 years we either add or replace new equipment. Okay. And so we like to stay on the cutting edge of technology. That's pretty much like what our driver is at HM. And other things that we like to do is we like to invest in tooling. So I have a lot of the shop guys here coming throughout the week to kind of look at all the tooling and the fixtures, because that's where we feel we see the greatest impact and improvement for not just machining, but downtimes and stuff like that.
So besides looking at technology and equipment to purchase every couple of years, what's your involvement in the show? Because I feel like over the last 4 to 6 years, like 2018 and on, you are heavily involved in the branding, the marketing, the speaking engagements. So tell me a little bit more about that.
So it was really cool. Kathy Webster, who is one of the main writers for IMTS, we reached out to her because I thought, HM has such a great story. At one point when you were asking me how I got involved, and I was only supposed to be in the business for 6 months, I actually uncovered like quite a scandal. So we almost lost the business due to an internal issue.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, in 2014, 2016, we finally like came out from all of those issues. And I said, you know what, we have such a great story to share. And I think IMTS, because they were looking for people. Yeah. And so they decided that they loved my story enough. And then since then, I've met everybody. I feel like it's IMTS plus Nicole all the time. And I just, I love IMTS. I've been coming here since I was a kid. So it means something to me. And I love the industry. And so every time that it's something IMTS related, it's just such an energy and a vibe that I love to do whatever I can to keep promoting IMTS and the industry.
That's great to hear. So yesterday was a little bit slow walking around the show.
But you know what? They still have 81,000 that showed up. So that's still a big plus.
Yeah. So what do you think for those people that are watching live, exhibiting or coming, do you feel like today's day 2 is equivalent or better so far from what you've seen than 2 years ago?
So we were stuck in traffic, which is a good sign because yesterday I kind of rolled right in. So today is busier. I've seen more people here in the west side of the building, which is all the tooling, and I feel like this gets the most traction. So it's busy. I love seeing that. I saw the other side too. There's a lot of movement, there's a lot of walking back and forth. So I'm hopeful that, you know, everyone thinks that the industry is going to keep pushing and growing, because I think a lot of us are using this as like the indicator of what's to come in manufacturing.
Yeah.
So when you see people show up and it's busy everywhere, it's a good thing. It's a good sign.
Yeah, and I feel like that convinces people that, because we're in an election year,
Yep.
right? Which whenever there's an election year, everybody
Scary
starts,
times, yeah.
don't know what's going to happen. People are afraid to buy. People are afraid to grow. And you were on a news channel recently, right?
Yes, a few, yeah.
Yeah, and you were talking about that. So high level, how do you feel about an election year from your position, being in the industry for so long?
Yeah. I would say I'm kind of at a standstill. I'm kind of just like staying really even about what's to come. We do want new equipment. I was looking at some stuff yesterday. I know we saw each other briefly, and I was kind of running around. But to me, as a small business, I'm really concerned about interest rates, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to be able to afford something at a lower interest rate, and when it starts to tick up, you have to really reevaluate, do you really need it? How that's going to impact cash flow and stuff like that. So I think for small businesses, we're all just kind of waiting to see what ends up happening. And if interest rates do go down, I think you'll start to see a lot more movement. I've been hearing some interesting ordeals where some people are offering 0% interest for the first 12 months.
Wow.
So, you know, that's as exciting as that is. That doesn't mean that, you know, after the 12 months, it doesn't go back up to 8% and now you're stuck with those payments. But the fact that you're hearing those types of situations and kind of deals, that kind of says something of where we are in the industry.
Yeah. So do you feel like those guys that are doing that are doing it because they're hopeful that interest rates will come down and that their customers won't be pissed off bailing with them? Or do you think that they're like, we got to get it while we can, so let's just lock them in now?
I think it's twofold, right? I think that there's probably a lot more on their floor space than they had anticipated, right? So not a lot of people are really buying. So I think that they're trying to make this thing kind of like when you go, you know, shopping. Like I love to shop, right? So I always get excited when I see sales.
Yep.
But when you start to see a lot of markdowns, you start to like question what's happening. So I think people are just trying to get some cash flow in for those OEMs, like those big machine tool dealers that are trying to get stuff off of their floors.
Yep.
And then I also think that they're trying to kind of also help their customers to stay up with the new technology and new equipment, that maybe they do have a job that needs that type of piece of equipment, and try to kind of help them along with it. So I think it's kind of a twofold situation.
So let's talk about equipment for a minute. So what type of equipment are you running at your shop right now? What's the quantity that you have, etc.?
Oh my God, we're crazy. So it's anywhere from like one piece to like a couple thousand. So we kind of pride ourselves to have like a little prototype division where we do the onesie, twosie pieces. But things that I'm trying to kind of deviate from is those onesie, twosie pieces. And I want to have it where I was looking at a wire EDM, because to me, those types of quantities would be better suited than having like your CNC machines where you have so much program time, so much setup time, a lot of tooling involved, that it doesn't really justify kind of having that bottleneck. So, you know, we have, like I said, anywhere from all the CNC equipments, from gear hobbing to shaping and broaching, down to like your manual lathes, which is so fun and needed, right? I mean, like as a job shop, you have to have a variety.
So from a tooling standpoint with Dormer Pramet, so you tried out their tools.
We did.
And we're going to go through them and see what was your team's feedback to using them. So So the first one is the S248 HB5.
Okay.
So what was your team's experience using it?
So they were telling me that they were looking for a tool to reduce their roughing time.
Okay.
So, you know, of course, we do a lot of stainless steel, aluminum. Sometimes they're thicker pieces. And so they were looking for some kind of like new technology and technique that could accomplish that with just a single tool versus having so many different types to be able to make patterns and rough and stuff. So that's what they were looking for originally on that specific one.
Okay. And do they feel like it was accomplished so far? I know it's only been a few weeks.
But they did a little time study and they said that it reduced it by 30%. So I think that that's a huge win.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We will take that. The next one is the S248 HB1.
Okay.
So what was your guys' experience with that?
So it was kind of like the same thing. They were looking for cycle time reductions, and they said that it really worked pretty well, and they were excited, and they would like to keep using it to see longevity, how it continues in the tool life.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for Dormer Pramet this year, they released a new brand tagline with certainty at every turn.
Yeah.
And so talking with them yesterday, and the brand organizers, it used to be reliability, and now they're going with certainty at every turn, meaning the play on the word turn of turning, obviously, but then also all aspects of the business. So people can sell you a tool, but are they going to support it? How's the customer service going to be?
Right.
So that's really what they're trying to go after this year with this new brand unveiling. So I think that if you guys did continue to go down the path, that you'd have the team to support and work with your team to figure out the exact applications and the tools to fit it. The last one was the S5366.0x0xR1.10.
Oh my God, do that again.
Yeah,
you just screwed that whole thing up. So he's going to try again,
We're going to do it again. So S5366.0xR1.0.
Perfect. We didn't have any dyslexia there.
No,
I was really proud of you.
There was none. So what was your guys' experience with that?
And like how it performs?
Yeah,
so they said pretty much the same thing very well. They were really excited about the tools that they were given to try to test out. They're so used to like a standard 4-flute Endmill. Yeah. And so this one was a little bit different, and they were really excited to see these features and how it was able to like rip through a lot of the material.
Yep.
And we have a lot of different features on a lot of our different style products that we make, right? So it was really cool to see that be able to function, and that they loved the surface finish on that as well.
All right. So when you're looking for a new supplier,
yeah.
So we're going to talk about how to sell to Nicole.
Oh no!
Right.
Now I have to give away the farm.
all of your secrets. So when you're looking for a new supplier, because you purchase a lot of things, equipment,
yeah,
consumables like tools and stuff like that. What are like the top 3 things that you're looking for?
So I would say reliability, consistency, relationships,
okay.
Right? There is nothing worse than you take on a vendor, which is costly, right? By the time you put them in the system, you have to test out their products to see if it's going to be something that you can use. Is it good quality? All of those things. And I think that the worst part about it is like when you can't get a hold of anybody,
yeah.
Right? And not having a relationship where, you have a new product line that you're doing for your customer, and you have inserts or end mills that keep snapping. And when you can't get a hold of someone to try to figure out what's happening, or maybe use a different type of one, something that can help generate some feedback. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
But when you're just calling somebody and you don't get anybody in the line, or they just say, hey, look it up on the website. Well, that doesn't help us at all, right? I want someone that has field service, that understands that has been out running these machines with that type of product line, that can give us some better ideas of maybe, we're not doing enough coolant on it, we're not running it fast enough. Yep. Like all of these bits of tricks to the trade, I think is super important. And so, yeah, besides reliability and having good quality, to me, it's always relationship based. I like being able to come to a booth like this and know people, right? Yep. And I think when you have a really good relationship, it just makes everything so much better.
Yeah, and so I feel like people often are just, especially the lazy sales guys and the companies that are saying, we're going to make it more efficient. You just go to our website and do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, going back old school, 2010, 2016, like it used to be done on handshakes, and people would come by all the time.
Totally.
And cold visit.
Yeah.
And you formed that relationship and got to know the brand, like you're saying. And then there's that trust, right?
Totally.
And so once that trust is built, it's like hard to break that trust level. So I feel like there's a lot of people that would agree with that, but I still feel like there's not many people that are like practicing what they preach, right? They're just like,
totally.
How do you feel about that?
I just think it's a lot of moving parts, right? I think the larger the company, the harder it is. As a family business, you can always get a hold of me. I don't know if that's good or bad. For me, sometimes it's bad when I'm getting text messages at 1 a.m. being like, where are our parts? That's never a good situation or sign. But I just think, when you're so large, you're trying to deal with different time zones and people from different countries, that I think for them, it's really hard to be able to help out in that way. But when you have a good outside salesperson and you can really grab onto that, that's super important, right? Yeah. So I feel like everyone does need to start practicing what they're preaching. I have a good friend who's in machining, and he always says, I want to be treated the same way that, I would want to be treated, right?
Yeah.
So treat someone the same way as you would want to be treated.
Right.
And I think that goes for a lot of things, right? So I'm always trying to be extra helpful with extra details, because for me, that's what I like. And I think the more that you can do that, the better off we all are in this industry. So yeah, I think that more people need to just be okay with asking stupid questions, right? Like, I don't know everything.
Yep.
You know, I'm just a girl in manufacturing, so I'm still new, right? So to me, the tooling side of things, the fixturing side of things is not my forte, but the machines are, right? So I like to ask a lot of questions, and I want someone to be patient and explain it to me, and not just kind of read off S5366.0RX1, right? So, you know, the more that we can kind of help out each other, I feel like the better we are as an industry. Yeah,
so somebody coming in, some salesperson coming in, asking you, what's your current applications? What are you working with? Trying to offer you up that solution to the problem.
Yeah.
Building that rapport and that relationship, but then understanding that once you get it, that's not when it stops, right? But that's what a lot of people do is like, I closed you, you bought my machine.
Bye-bye.
Do not buy tools. Bye, text me if you need something, right? So it's continuing that relationship, because industrial and manufacturing is so small.
It is.
Right? It's massive, but it's so small. Everybody knows everybody for the most part.
Yeah.
And so harnessing that relationship and that network, you never know when people leave, go to different places, and holding on to that Rolodex, which most of these young kids won't know what it is.
I know.
But holding on to that, it's like you give someone a business card, and some of these younger kids are like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like,
totally.
Can you just text me your info? But that's great to hear that that's what you're looking for in a supplier. Now, the entire world, or whoever's going to watch this, is going to be hitting you up saying, I know how to sell to Nicole. I'm going to sell a machine.
But just don't drop me afterwards, you know?
Exactly. So let's talk about the future in the industry in the next couple of years. What's something that you're excited about seeing in the next 1 to 3 years?
I would love to start seeing the evolution of AI in the tools and the machines themselves. I think that that's going to be super important, right? You already have a hard enough time trying to find maintenance personnel.
Yeah.
And so when you have that type of equipment that can start really guessing of what's going to happen next, you can be prepared for, and kind of start training the people on your shop floor to start looking and evaluating, and hey, this AI tool, it looks like you're going to need a new spindle within the next 6 months if you keep running this way, and it's now showing yellow. I think those things help you not just as a small job shop, right, like I am, but you can be prepared so you don't have the downtimes. I think that that's the worst part. You know, I was talking to someone yesterday about that there's nothing worse than saying, okay, our machine's down, but now it's going to be 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, because we also don't have the service technician to come out and be able to service that machine once we do get the parts.
Right.
And so that's super costly. So I think the AI with tooling, the tool life, and being able to kind of forecast what your machine is going to need, whether it's a spindle, whether it's a bearing, whether it's, you know, guides, whatever it is, I think that that's going to be super cool.
And what are you excited about for IMTS in 2026? Like so let's say if you could do anything.
That I'm still here.
if you could control what's at the show or the direction it goes in, what's one thing that you would say, I really think that we need to have this, besides live music and fun times and drinks all the time,
right?
Which everybody would want.
For sure.
But besides that, what's something that you wish that was here?
You know, IMTS is doing such a great job where they're trying to bring in other trade shows to make it a larger trade show so that it encompasses more people in the industry, right? You know, we have so many already. We have Fab Tech, we have A&B that's over in Stuttgart, and they're all kind of like happening at the same time. And I think that that's really difficult because you're already spread so thin as it is, and it's hard to kind of go everywhere all at the same time and kind of split up. So for me, I would love for IMTS to start kind of like grabbing some of the smaller ones
and merging them.
Yeah, I think that that's super cool. You know, I'm a part of AGMA, so they're going to hate me for saying this, but I just kind of have to. They're going to kill me and probably not want me on their board anymore. But, you know, we have this thing called the MPT show, which is the Motion and Power Trade Show up in Detroit. And it's just primarily for gearing, right? And I think it'd be so cool to have that small show where IMTS comes in and says, hey, you know, I know you guys are always on the off year of us, but what if we like had like a little area?
Like a gearing hall.
Yeah,
that'd
something
be cool.
like, right, something different where like all the gear geeks like myself can go, and I don't feel like I'm wasting my time going to one hall over here and another one over there to try to kind of make everything all at the same time. So I think stuff like that, where it makes it almost like user friendly, I think would be great.
Yeah, that would be cool, because right now you kind of have to pick which hall you want to be in and which area.
Yeah.
Right? Are you going to be in the work holding, the tooling? Are you going to be in the machinery? Are you going to be in the additive side? So having, it's not like there's not more space here. They could section off another area.
They're almost out, but totally,
So go down to the second floor, the first floor, and say,
sure. But that's no man's land. No one wants to go there. I don't even want to go there. That's scary down there.
But if they spruced it up and if they put some attention to it, I feel like they could use, even if it was the East Hall, right? When you come off the corridor, right there, you've got people's booths
You've got
there.
Space.
You could take that over and say, this is going to be all of the gearing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you're excited about this year, this week to go? What are you most excited about to go to at IMTS?
Oh my gosh. Everything. I mean, this is like my favorite thing. Everyone that knows me knows that like I literally, my entire schedule stops for IMTS. Yeah. So of course, I always love networking. I love meeting new people. I was at a different booth yesterday, Sonic. I'd never been to their booths before, and I've been here so many different times. Yep. And it was so cool that they were like, hey, I've known you from my previous job that I went to, and now I'm here. Can I show you a machine? And so I think like that's super fun, the networking, meeting new people, seeing different technologies that you could probably implement into your own company, which is always fun. But also I'm excited to MC my first gig at Zoller, so that's going to be fun. Everyone should come down on Thursday to check that out.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What are you doing on Thursday?
I'm being me. No, so it's going to be really cool. They have a tool room award.
Okay.
And so it's whoever has like the best type of the tooling in their shop. Okay. That's all Zoller related. So I get to kind of hand out that award. So I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that should be fun.
So that'll be different.
Yeah, and so like you touched on it, going to that company with the machine. There's like thousands of exhibitors here, right?
Yeah.
And even if you walked up and down every aisle, every hall, you still would miss seeing somebody.
Things. Yeah.
So even though it's every 2 years, and even people that are saying, I'm going to be there for 5 days, you still wouldn't, unless you were intentional with your visits, you'll still miss people. So that's 100%. Why it's great that you're able to stop in booths that you've been coming here for a long time.
I know.
And you're like, I've never stopped in there. So it's got to be exciting for you to see new things.
Yeah, I love that. It's fun for me.
Yeah.
Plus, like IMTS has really cool job shops that they have. And so I'm going to be on one later today for one of their panels. And I just think it's fun to be able to not just like go look at booths and try to find new technology and new tooling, but to also kind of be on the IMTS side of things for their job shop series and for women in manufacturing when they have their events too. So I kind of like to dabble in a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my first time to McCormick Place was back during, do you remember, this is before your time.
Good.
I don't even know if you were old enough.
I'm only 26.
Right. But National Manufacturing Week. Do you remember that?
What is that?
So that used to be every other year at McCormick Place for 7 days. And I feel like that's what morphed into IMTS. I'd have to go back in history, but we're talking like 1998, 2002. I remember taking the train from LaGrange, where I was working, to downtown to come to National Manufacturing Week.
Interesting.
At McCormick Place. But it was very similar. All of the halls were taken. 7 to 10 days worth of technology. So
well, IMTS has been way before 98. So.
Was it?
So my God, yeah. So maybe since like the 70s.
So then maybe National Manufacturing Week shut down and then just said, I'm going to morph into IMTS.
That could be.
It was very, very similar stuff.
Could be.
So anything else to add before we let you go for today?
No. What do you want me to add?
Is there anything that you want to talk about with HM that's going on in the next year or two that you're excited about?
A lot of things, right? I mean, we're really pushing automation super hard. I think the coolest thing that HM does is we have year-round internships. And so if you follow us on all the social media, you'll always find like these young kids that are like 16, 17, 18, year-round learning about the industry, whether it's in engineering or whether it's business development. And I think that that's so fun to get these kind of kids sucked in as early as we can. And so I always find it great that IMTS has like their little, like kind of their school days here, their student summit. Yeah. So I love that they keep pushing that and growing that. And I'm seeing such a larger interest in manufacturing, Kiki she's here today. she used to work for me. She went to go get a different job in the city, but I told her she should do that. And the funny thing is she took a PTO day to actually come back to IMTS because she loved it so much, right? So you never know that at her age of 24, how it comes back, right? And so I think it's really cool that when you can be impressionable and, you know, at the same time intentional, especially with this industry, that it really works wonders. So that'll be cool.
Yeah, that's great to see, getting the youth involved, because it's not like they're knocking down the doors to be like, I want to work in industrial, I want to work in manufacturing.
For sure.
So it's great to hear that. One last thing, would you agree that the best deals happen at a trade show at the bar? I feel like they do.
The best things happen at bars, let me tell you.
Okay. Because I've talked to a few people and they're like, no, we got to go to this hall, this room. And I'm like, I've been going to trade shows for 25 years.
Yeah.
The deals happen in the hotel lobby bars.
They do.
That's where you get to network and just really be yourself.
So I thought, so this is pretty cool, right? So my dad is 81. And he's been coming here forever. And so he is here today, and he's going to be walking the floor and looking for tooling and fixturing. And that's his niche, right? That's his happy place. He gets excited about that. And yesterday I was at the FANUC party, and I was just kind of walking around, mingling. We're talking about some machine deals and stuff like that. And I met this one individual, and he is the president of Shunk. And I was like, oh my God, it was like a fangirl moment in like a weird way, because my dad loves everything from that company.
Okay.
And so I was like, hey, can you please meet my dad tomorrow? He's coming. And he's like, absolutely. So I'm like so excited that after here, I'm going to go grab him and we're going to go introduce him. And,
awesome.
You know, it's kind of like that fun stuff. But yes, everything happens over a glass of wine for me.
Yeah.
And I think it's just fun. It kind of loosens everybody up.
Yeah. It's less about the booth networking formality. And it's more like, hey, we're in the bar. What's up? What's your name? And just shooting the breeze and having a general conversation and networking.
Yeah.
All right.
I love it.
So we're going to take a short break before we go into the Dormer Pramet's booth tour. We're going to let Nicole go. Nicole, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
All right. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jordan Grunwald with Dormer Pramet, sales engineer. We are here at the 2024 IMTS show. We're at booth 461. Come on by and see us. We have all of our great new products here. So over here, we've got a lot of grooving and parting tools, along with turning, boring bars, capto holders, Dormer Hydra drills, along with our heavy turning industry tools. We're showcasing all of our high-speed round tools, including our taps, drills, carbide drills, coolant through carbide drills, along with the cobalt offering. Over here we have all of our milling tools. So everything from face, shoulder, copy, we have it all. So come on by and see us. We also have a small selection of tool holders here that you can see. It's something new from us, and we want you guys to come over and interact with us. Come on by. We'll be here till 5 o'clock today, and we'll be here from basically all week. So I'll mess that last part up. Is this live? Oh, it's live? Okay. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Have a great week.